The Bruins come in tonight with 16 points. They're in 4th place in the Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference. Dallas in 6th place in the Central Division in the West. Tonight's starting goalie is brought to you by your local New England Audi dealers. Experience Audi Quattro all-wheel drive today. Kari Lehtonen, mostly with the Atlanta Thrashers, 3-3 in this building. Tuukka Rask, look at his goals against average at home, 1.85. So then look at his one-loss record, just 4-3. His teammates owe him a little bit more production than they've been providing for him. Tyler Seguin playing what he considers to be his natural position, center, to take the opening drop against his former colleague, Patrice Bergeron. Louis Eriksson returns to action after missing 5 games with a concussion. I don't know if Eriksson's got an equipment issue, his chin strap. The chin strap's not working, and it's got to be able to be buckled in order for him to take part. Lindy Ruff, now the coach of the Dallas Stars, earned the respect of everyone through thick and thin in Buffalo. A great teacher of the game. Claude Julien sporting the poppies that are in memory and to the benefit of veterans in Canada. Matt Falconer and Keith Robinson doing a little improvisational work on Eriksson's helmet. Johnny Boychuk comes back. Did not make the trip to the island. And that kind of puts the Bruins defense pairs in the right rotations. So Riley Smith's going to come out for Eriksson. He has to wait a little bit longer. The game is on. Longest homestand of the year, Brick.
Yeah, time to put some points on the board if you're Boston. They just really haven't played to their identity consistently enough this year. If you're going to play these many games at home and a road, you want to bank 8 to 10 points.
Smith into the skates of Patrice Bergeron. Riley Smith rolls the puck down into the corner. Roll it on Brad Marchand. That's Marchand. We'll get into that a little bit later. Jamie Benn, the captain of the Stars, protecting the puck. Seguin getting booed, and the puck comes up and out of play. So after pronouncing his name Marchand into various cameras and microphones for the last 4 years, Brad Marchand says, okay, I got to decide. It's one or the other, and let's go with Marchand.
Yeah, and let's
so
just hope.
Fun.
Yeah, and let's hope that you're calling his name quite a bit tonight. That he's around the puck and he's playing his style of hockey. He's one of those core guys that the Bruins need more from. Plain and simple.
Dennis Seidenberg rails it around. Jerome McGinley digs the puck loose. It rattles off Milan Lucic's skates. Cody Eakin, you may remember him from the Washington Caps, swings it across to Alex Goligoski, ex of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Tuukka Rask goes it right in front, and Dougie Hamilton saves one off of Ray Whitney's stick with an empty net. Penalty coming up here as the Bruins carry the puck into the attacking zone, and they're going to get an early power play.
Yeah, it's going to be Whitney actually that gets the penalty after Tuukka Rask, a little miscommunication. I'm not sure it was a misplay, maybe a miscommunication. Dougie Hamilton was able to get back, use that long reach, those long strides to get to this puck. Looked to me like Tuukka was just trying to lay this puck back towards the boards, and he kind of heeled it a little bit. And then as Whitney couldn't corral that puck in pursuit of David Krejci, the stick comes up high.
Bruins 1 for 3 on the power play on the island in the loss Saturday. They have power play goals in 3 of their last 4 games. And Brick, you've been seeing some pretty hopeful signs from the Boston man advantage.
Yeah, move the puck quickly and get some motion in your power play. When you do those things, now your natural skills take over. And a guy like Letton, net for Dallas, if you get second chance opportunities, you want to put that puck in the upper half of the net.
Brendan Dillon, one hands around to the corner. Milan Lucic waiting there. Antoine Roussel, once property of the Bruins, poking it away for the moment. Now Roussel in a race against Torrey Krug, and Roussel swivels it to center.
The idea was good by Iginla, just didn't get enough on the puck to get it all the way back to the point.
Krejci. Eriksson in his return. McGinley shoves the puck back to Krejci. Slides it top of the circle to Eriksson. Brings it to the boards. Krejci along the line to Krug. To the dot to McGinley. Draws Robidas. Sends it low for Chara against Dillon. Chara brings the puck back to Krug along the line to Krejci. Down into the circle for Eriksson. Krejci's drive. Double deflection. Sean Horkoff ends up with an extra stick as Rich Peverley lost the grip on his. Here's Krejci out top. The one-timer for McGinley and a save by Lettinen. McGinley setting up low circle. The Bruins still with possession. Eriksson to Krejci. To McGinley, tries it again and a stick save by Lettinen. McGinley not getting as much on that as he wanted. Here's Chara back of the goal for Krejci at the slot. Now Eriksson holds right across the middle. Off the skate to Krejci. To Krug, and a save by Lettinen. The Bruins getting triangles and taking advantage of 2-on-1s all over the place.
And maybe an opportunity to take more advantage of Rich Peverley. The broken stick on the back end, and Peverley's got to give his stick back to the defenseman in order to protect close to the net. But the Bruins didn't really work the puck in Peverley's area. They felt they had better opportunities to set up McGinley for a couple of one-timers. Those were short-sighted. And then the last one was Krug from the dot, but not much of a screen. Chara could not get in front of Lettinen on that drive by Krug.
We have a stoppage signaled by referee Chris Rooney, and they're going to hold the clock. So it starts to beat late. Hamilton the drive on a glove save by Lettinen.
That's a strong draw right there by Patrice Bergeron. On his backhand, able to take that to the middle of the ice. A lot of sentiment in a 5-on-4 situation. Try to force that puck to the board side. Not Bergeron. He's going to win it directly back to Hamilton on the backhand side from the left dot.
Eakin really getting low to win the faceoff against Bergeron. Goligoski sending the puck the length of the ring. 10 seconds to go on Whitney's penalty for high sticking. Dennis Seidenberg looking to feed Eriksson and Soderberg on the far side, but the puck goes out of play and the face-off back in front of the Boston bench.
Well, the Bruins had time for one more entry into the offensive zone. Tough break for Seidenberg. That puck just kind of went on edge and exploded on him. It appeared the Bruins had nice speed and an open left lane to get entry into the offensive end.
Eakin wins another face-off. This Karam's past Daly. The Bruins with 3 shots on the power play just concluded. Dougie Hamilton at the red line. Cross-corner dump. Lettinen out of his cage to stop it for Goligoski. And here comes Marchand really approaching with pressure. Produces the turnover to Bergeron. Dangles right across the goal line, but Lettinen takes the bottom of the goal away. Goligoski to Eakin. Well, that was the Brad Marchand of old with the new pronunciation.
Well, it starts with Bergeron trying to force Goligoski. Goligoski, one of his strengths is his skating ability to shake the forecheck. He's going to use the net a little bit as an ally. But it was Marchand and then Bergeron. Marchand initially, Bergeron on the follow-up, layers on the forecheck, create the turnover. Marchand able to find Bergeron. Bergeron was waiting for those legs to open up, looking 5-hole, moving to the backhand. Lettinen did a nice job to stay with him.
Krejci and Ben on the drop. And Jamie Benn wins it cleanly. Riley Smith hacking it away from Tyler Seguin. Now here's Ben. Loops the backhand forward. Chara takes it away. Ben gets it back and scores! Jamie Benn puts Dallas on top 3.5 minutes into the game on the first shot on goal the Stars take.
Quick counter by the Stars in the neutral zone. The Bruins can't get across the red line. Chara's going to knock this puck down about 5 feet inside the defensive blue line, but the Stars stay with it. And it's Ben who's got a great release, a gifted goal scorer. There's the bat down by Chara, but it comes right back to Ben, and he gets enough space, enough of a seam from just inside the tops of the circle, shooting in motion. One of the keys to scoring goals, especially at the NHL level, that quick release in motion before the goaltender can get completely square and aggressive, and he's able to beat Rask blocker side. That was a bullet. Get another look at it. I mean, it's a good bounce for the Stars. Tough to defend if you're the Bruins. I don't know if that stick in the shooting lane changed the direction of that shot or the release, or if it ramped up a little bit, because he can really shoot the puck. But no matter how you look at it, the Stars opportunistic on a broken play.
Those 3 seasons with 20 goals, his 3 full NHL seasons, 3 82-game seasons. Carl Soderberg works it forward against Sergei Gonchar, playing in his 19th season. McQuaid's wrist shot caroms off Peverley to Krug. Krug gets Fiddler off his skates. The backhander goes wide on the glove side. McQuaid working down against Eric Cole. Puck all the way to the corner. Jordy Ben, the older brother of Jamie, can't get rid of the puck. The tip scores. Krug down low from Riley Smith, and the Bruins come back to tie it up. 38 seconds after Dallas scores, the Bruins even up the game.
And it's an important big picture in terms of this game, answering shift by the third line. The third line was victimized on that broken play that Ben was able to score on. But what a pinch down by Krug. That's an aggressive forward skating play to keep the play in the offensive zone. It's a good read, react. Soderberg's able to pick up that little chop by Krug. And even though the pass was intended for a one-timer for Riley Smith, it's in by his right skate, and he can't let it fly. And then Smith with a perfect pass to Krug, who stayed on the offense up that far post.
Thornton and Roussel really going at it just before the face-off. Here's Roussel working Dougie Hamilton's side of the ice. Hamilton locks up with it. Garvin in the corner brings it back. Romanov bounces the puck to the end boards. Roussel in a tussle with Hamilton loses an edge. If Garvin's parents had any sense of humor, they would have named him Sid. Right? So we would have been Cigar Butt. Just a passing thought. Here's the Warriors. Stefan Robidas working Chara's side of the ice. Chara gets leverage. Garvin down in the corner. He went to Brown for 4 years. Look what he's doing with that Ivy League education.
He's not alone in this league.
Nope. Not by a long stretch. Chara's pass intended for Ginla does not connect. No icing. Lehtinen steers it over. Boychuk fans on the shot. Krejci returns the puck to Chara in the neutral zone.
Yeah, Chara has to back off in that situation because of the misfire by Boychuk.
Krejci right across the middle looking for Lucic. Chara on the one-timer off Chiasson's leg. Alex Chiasson from Boston University. A 3-on-2 here. Cody Eakin over the line trying to feed Goligoski, and now the defenseman's on the wrong side of the puck. 2-on-1, and Ginla and Krejci. Krejci taps back to Lucic. Couldn't get good wood on it because he was getting back-checking pressure. McQuaid knocks down the puck in the neutral zone.
Nice play by Johnny Boychuk. 3-on-2 for Dallas. Held his ground. Able to read the pass attempt by Eakin to steal that puck. That led to the 2-on-1.
The Shushkin all the way to the Boston line, but broken up. Here's Bergeron off the toe of Eriksson's blade. Trevor Daley gives back to Gonchar. Center circle. Nishushkin drops it off. Sagan swipes the backhand down into McQuaid's corner. McQuaid can't get it past Sagan's stick. Daley, the defenseman, all the way to the Zamboni doors. Bergeron takes it away. Eriksson absorbs the hit to move the puck cross ice. Seidenberg flicks it all the way forward. Marchand hits Jamie Benn. Here's Bergeron into the middle for Eriksson. Marchand denied on the doorstep by Lehtinen, who was down on one side. Eriksson to Marchand. He gains the line. Eriksson closes the wrist shot. Rebound off Lehtinen. Marchand digging for the puck. Takes it away from Daley. Saucers it back to Boychuk. Whips it along to Chara. The shot saved Lehtinen. Bergeron to Marchand. One motion, but Vern Fiddler makes the block. Eric Cole gets beheaded by Boychuk, and he was waiting for the onslaught, and Boychuk absolutely flattens the oncomer. Johnny Boychuk with a great check in the attacking zone, and then defends himself, and the crowd loves it. Vern Fiddler won't soon forget Bust number 55.
Nice to have Johnny Boychuk back in the lineup. Great defensive play on the 3-on-2. Able to make that steal, turn defense into offense. The Bruins get a 2-on-1, potential 3-on-1 scoring opportunity for Lucic. And then the ability to read and know when to pinch. Well-timed. Eric Cole tried to pull that puck off the wall, cut to the middle. Not happening with Johnny Boychuk pinching down from that right point. Big body contact. And boy, was he ready for Fiddler.
He pancaked Fiddler so well that it was hard even to identify who the member of the Dallas Stars was.
And as a result, the Bruins end up on the man advantage.
Fiddler gets an instigator, we presume. They haven't posted.
I didn't know if there was a fight worthy of getting an instigator, but certainly he initiated the confrontation.
Well, the extra two is being served by Ray Whitney. The shot from McKinley busts through Lettinen, and Dallas clears. Okay, so it's a double minor 4-minute roughing for Fiddler. And they'll give Boychuk 2 for obliterating him. Eakin chops the puck loose, and Brendan Dillon on the clear. Torrey Krug, the goal scorer for the Bruins. As Bergeron right goes all the way to the attacking line, Soderberg digs it out of his skates. Tries a one-man regroup, but can't control the puck.
And this is where you'd like to have a really quality power play. The first power play, you got 3 shots, you got a couple of good one-timers from McGinley, but you don't do anything with the man advantage, and then Ben scores to give Dallas that 1-0 lead. Now you have momentum in the hockey game, followed up with a real good power play.
Louis Eriksson across to Dougie Hamilton. Bergeron coming out high, middle of the line. Smith to Bergeron in the slot. The backhander, stick save Lettinen. Bergeron banks the pass to Smith along the line to Hamilton. Hamilton down to the hash marks. Eriksson rotating out. Sends it to the low target. Soderberg tries to jam. It's loose in the crease. Smith digs it out. Keeps jamming at it. Bergeron moves it to Hamilton. The blast. Save, rebound. Still loose on the line. And Lettinen clamps down on it.
Well, the Stars doing enough when those pucks have been loose. Lettinen's making the initial stop. We talked about if you get rebound opportunities, try to get it up in the upper half of the net. Bruins giving a number of different looks. Love this play by Soderberg. Take the puck to the net. A self-rebound. Put it in right by the stick where you can't control the puck if you're the goaltender, and then hope to get it right back. Good drive by Dougie Hamilton as the Bruins are jumping on loose pucks with the man advantage, keeping plays alive.
Robina scales the puck the length of the rink, and it skips wide of Rask. The scoreboard says that shots are 15-1 in this game. 5 during the power play for the Bruins. They had 3 on their previous power play. Seconds out of the 2 minutes on that power play in the attacking zone for the Bruins. Chara sweeps the puck in front of the penalty bench. McQuaid to Krejci. Gives it away to Robina. Chara and Jamie. No, it's McQuaid and Jamie Benn. And Brendan Dillon comes in and says, if you want to tussle with somebody, take me on.
Well, it started at the offensive blue line for Boston. Dallas just goes off the glass to try to get the puck out. McQuaid tries to keep it in by batting it down, is unable to do what he wanted to do, and then Ben went right at him and gave him one of those little short cross checks. And then the puck comes out in the neutral zone. They had a little exchange, and McQuaid's expecting a different response than he got from Ben after that short cross check.
Plenty of contentiousness here.
Yeah, well, we showed you what happened in the neutral zone, but it really starts right about here. Sticks come up, and then there's that chop by Ben. That got McQuaid's attention. But it's McQuaid that's the only one in the box. Power play, Dallas.
Haven't gotten the call yet. Roughing for McQuaid. So Nichushkin brings it back to Goligoski, who can really run the power play. Rich Beverly, you know about him. Slides it along the line to Goligoski. Bounces it slot. Ben looking middle. Nichushkin. Here's the save by Rask.
When the Bruins talk about their penalty killing, it's about decision making, and decisions are when to be aggressive, when not to be. It's about body position, stick position, and then owning the middle of the ice when the puck gets towards the slot area. Dallas actually got a couple of good bounces to have that puck find their top players in and around that slot area, but Boston able to collapse to the slot in time.
Ben, Nichushkin, Seguin with the puck. Goligoski and Beverly out at the blue line. Valeri Nichushkin. And Bergeron sweeps it away. Beverly quickly to the puck. Here's Nichushkin, only 18 years old. He gives it away to Chris Kelly. Kelly with a breakaway, shorthanded, getting hooked. And not quite enough to draw a penalty. Seguin stabs the puck forward to Jamie Benn. Alex Goligoski works it forward. Seguin getting booed. Jamie Benn looking for Seguin. He tips it right past the post. Seidenberg spoons it out to the left side. And Eriksson cleared.
Heads up play by Seguin. Attack through the middle. He took that little drop pass at center ice. Generate speed. Attack to the middle of the offensive zone. Get the puck wide and continue to the net.
Ray Whitney. Goligoski along the line. There's Daly, the defenseman, cutting through the slot. He's got Eakin, middle of the blue line. The wrist shot saved by Rask. He dives. Whitney denied the near post as Dougie Hamilton shuts it off. Bergeron and Marchand, the penalty killers up front. Boychuk and Chara, the defensive pair. Gonchar rushes the puck. Whitney, who once had 34 power play assists in a season, sends it up to the red line. Gonchar to Whitney, a little traffic congestion, but Daly, a quick skater, picks up the puck, has to regroup as the Bruins hold the line. 2 shots on goal on the power play, which has just expired. McQuaid is back on the ice. The Bruins have 3 defensemen out there. Cody Eakin. Krejci caves him in. Krejci still hanging on to Eakin. Whitney tries to rake it out of their skates. Here comes Marchand. Marchand runs out of space, but Krejci's right there. Chiasson knocks the puck away. Lucic spinning into the corner. Horkoff digs it away from him. Garbutt out to center, but Seidenberg dribbles it to the right wing corner. Brendan Dillon back after it, absorbs the hit from Kelly to move the puck to Gonchar. Horkoff stick handles around Soderberg, gains the line, taps to Cole. Cole drops it off to Dillon. Dillon middle of the line, the drive Robidas, saved by Rask, and he gathers up his own rebound. The Bruins have brought some muscle in the first period. Milan Lucic unloading on Stefan Robidas. It's 1-1. Amica Coverage Cam presented by Amica Insurance. Great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance.
Well, we talked tonight about, we started talking tonight about the Bruins playing more to their identity. And here's a pretty good example of it right here. Body contact on the forecheck. Now the other 2 players read and react. There's Bergeron taking away the wall, 3rd man high. That's Louis Eriksson. This is textbook. This is how you forecheck. It starts with body contact. Get the puck into that slot area, create 2-on-1s, good triangles, and it all starts with that first man getting in and creating the turnover.
Seguin wins the faceoff. Dillon's wrist shot deflected and a save by Rask as he moved from his left to his right. Marchand locks up against Robidas on the boards. Johnny Boychuk pulls it away from Valeri Nichushkin. Dillon whacked the stick out of Chris Kelly's hand. Dillon off the end boards. Robidas gives it ahead to Seguin. He's got some open ice. Gives it ahead to Nichushkin. Chara having trouble from Nichushkin from behind. Bergeron to Marchand, middle of the zone. Eriksson holds. Tries to swivel it, but Seguin is in the passing lane. Bergeron and Romanov go to the end wall. Seguin snaps the puck around. Eriksson tumbling. McQuaid bunts it forward. Marchand gains the line with the quick re-entry. He's got Eriksson in the middle. McQuaid has to kick the puck forward as it came up on edge. Marchand slips it to Eriksson, goes across the zone for Krug, but the puck hops up on him. Krug, the quick one-timer. Kelly rattles off the glass, but the Bruins finding lots of lanes. McQuaid goes off the corner boards, almost got the billiard shot back to Kelly. Goligoski to Robidas off the stick of Kelly, and Soderberg breaks down the play in the neutral zone. Let's go Bruins, the champion TD Garden crowd. Riley Smith for Soderberg. Lettinen kicks it out. Chiasson. Now it's Whitney. Eakin. Rask sticks it to the near boards. Riley Smith off the wall. Goligoski in front of the penalty bench. Smith jabbing away at the puck. Cole can't gain entry as Hamilton's on one side and Campbell and Smith are on the other. Now the quick turn by Peverley. Stick handles through traffic. Whips it to Fiddler on the off wing. The shot saved by Rask. He got the right pad down on it. Hires Peverley forward to the goal line. Goes right to the post. And he gets it around Hamilton. Hamilton blocks Peverley's pass. Thornton wants to go backward into the zone. Hamilton makes a nice catch of a hot puck and gives to Seidenberg. That takes some pressure off. Hamilton takes the space. Let's rip from the blue line, and Lettinen will make this stop. Torrey Krug scoring on one of the Bruins. 17 shots on goal in the first, the most of any period so far this season.
Tyler Seguin's been busy leading the Dallas Stars in points to start the season, but he did take time to sit down with our very own Jack Edwards. We saw the first part of the interview in our pregame show, but catch parts 2 and 3 in between periods. To purchase your tickets and
he's got his way, and he's going to follow it. And much more with Tyler Seguin, who was nice enough to give him a good chunk of give us a good chunk of time yesterday. McGinley gets spilled in a tussle with Daly. Garbutt hard off the boards. It bounces down on the Bruins side of the red line. McQuaid has to wedge off. Roussel, Lucic, the one-touch pass for Krejci. He goes across the zone. Here's Krug, the defenseman, jumping all the way to the corner. Absorbs a big hit by Garbutt. Krejci to McQuaid. McQuaid on Lettinen. He gets a pretty good view and makes the save off the ice.
Score sees to a Bruins game this November. Limited tickets and executive suite rentals are available to see the Bruins take the ice against the Florida Panthers this Thursday or the Toronto Maple Leafs this Saturday. To purchase tickets or rent a suite, visit bostonbruins.com.
Shots on goal are 18-7 in favor of the Bruins. Kelly, a couple of swipes and he gets tossed out of the face-off, so Soderberg will go in to take it against Jamie Benn. Benn wins it back to Goligoski, shortens the stick to get it to Jordy Benn. Goligoski steers it to the near boards. Soderberg takes it unopposed, runs into Goligoski's check. Jamie Benn swivels back of his own goal, but he's got Smith on one side, Soderberg on the other. Johnny Boychuk hits the brakes, trying to get away from Jamie Benn. Chara just flicks the puck out to the neutral zone. Soderberg, the chip for Kelly. Cross corner. Lettinen whacks it around to the near side. Soderberg can't turn it past Jordy Benn. Jamie Benn cross ice. Goligoski with some big strides, but Seidenberg on the diagonal cuts him off. Both teams change. Johnny Boychuk deliberately into the neutral zone. On edge, down into Dillon's corner. Bergeron blocks the exit attempt. Now here's Marchand, cross ice. Dougie Hamilton, a wobbling puck, has to settle it. Drives it through the corner. Marchand can't come up with it. Robidas around to the half board. Seidenberg cuts it off. Dillon straight ahead for Ray Whitney. Dougie Hamilton stops the puck just inside the Boston zone. Eakin gives it to Chiasson. Chiasson on the backhand, a save by Rask off the chest, and Eakin couldn't knock it through the pile of bodies. Romanov gives Marchand a ride up onto the dasher. Eriksson gets muscled off the puck. Alex Chiasson. Whitney cross ice. McQuaid ties up Eakin. Now Chiasson trades with Seidenberg, but Campbell's there in support for the Bruins. Dallas upping the physical ante. Here's the kick save off Eakin. Tuukka Rask coming off the line. Trevor Daley keeps the puck in the zone. Good extended stretch for Dallas in the Boston end of the ice. Seidenberg blocks Whitney's attempt to center it. Eriksson holds. Dallas tries to follow one good shift with another as we click toward 2 minutes to go in a first period in which Boston has had much of the run of play. Lets it out of his goal, quickly off the boards. Fiddler can't do anything with it as Thornton gets a hold of him in the neutral zone. Daley goes D to D. Gonchar center circle for Peverley, deflects the backhand up into the air. Krugen Peverley to the boards, centering attempt, and Rask clamps down on it.
Well, one of the things we talked about in the tough loss to the Islanders was the Bruins forwards needing to get a little deeper on the breakouts. A great example right here. There's Soderberg. Look how deep he is, Jack. Now this is an easy play right there for Chara. You got all kinds of space in this area here to now make a play. It's a heads-up play by Soderberg. There are times when you want your wingers high, but there are other times, more frequently in fact, where that winger can come nice and deep and make it easy out for the defenseman in order to come out of your own zone cleanly.
Yeah, the key word there being easy. The simple pass, sometimes the best one to make. Campbell and Horkoff. Horkoff wins the draw. Robidoux goes all the way to the corner against Krug. Holds him off with the free hand. Turns it off the bodies in front. Taps it into the circle. But there's Adam McQuaid. Chips off the boards. Dillon takes the hit to keep the puck in the attacking zone. Krug flicks to the far side. It's past Kelly. Robidoux right on it at the red line. Off McQuaid's glove. And it bounces down for Sean Horkoff.
Yeah, pretty good response here by the Stars the last 3, 4, 5 minutes. Getting themselves back. Get the ice tilted back almost even. A little bit more jump, a little bit more motion in the offensive zone. Eakin had a real good chance that you called, Jack, that Rask got to flash that left pad. That was a real good shift, and they're trying to build off it.
Almost like those Buffalo teams that played for, what was his name? Lindy. Oh, that's right, Lindy Ruff. Here's Krejci all the way to the corner. He gets it. Ron Lenton as we enter the final minute of play. Jerome McGinley locks up Garbutt on the far side. Krejci takes a stab at it. Krejci comes off the half boards, flicks the puck to Boychuk, middle of the line to Chara, lines it up to the Rocket, the save, the rebound, Krejci, but it goes off Jordy Benn's legs. McGinley on the end board, squeaks it through to Lucic, banks it to Boychuk, the backup Rocket, and that fells his teammate Iginla. The Stars clear at the length of the rink, and it's going to be icing against Dallas.
Really like this play by Zdeno Chara to come across the ice. Don't just stand over at the left point. He comes all the way close in proximity to Johnny Boychuk, and the coverage doesn't come with him. Now Chara's got a chance, and even though he doesn't get a good break, and Krejci's there for the rebound, but there's just too many bodies before he can beat Lettinen with that rebound. But Chara wisely comes across, gets on the other side. It's like an overload at the point on one side of the ice.
Seguin and Krejci, and the boos rain down on Tyler Seguin. It's not as if he demanded to be traded, by the way. We'll hear more from Tyler Seguin in our exclusive one-on-one interview a little bit later. Here's Jamie Benn with an opening. The backhand just wide on the stick side. Benn using his speed. And now he throws it in front. Benn off Rask across the goal line and out as Benn and Seguin produce a scoring chance in the closing seconds of the first. Lucic plays the body against Gonchar. And the siren sounds to end the first. It's 1-1 going to the rooms. The Bruins with a big advantage in shots on goal, but I'm not sure the chances were that lopsided because Dallas had some golden ones.
No, you need puck management, especially when you have Seguin and Ben on the ice. And Chara tried to bypass Johnny Boychuk to get the puck to David Krejci. That led to the first Ben opportunity. And then again, the Bruins not able to manage that puck deep in their own zone, and Ben had a second follow-up. See, this is not a good pass. Little miscommunication. Who's that pass intended to? Is it supposed to be for Boychuk? Is it supposed to be for Krejci? It's in between. And just like we saw in the Ben goal, a turnover in between the defensive blue line and the red line can haunt you when you're going against quick counterattack offensive players.
Well, they got 7 chances to 8 for the Bruins, so Dale, the shots aren't really indicative of the golden opportunities. Boston Bruins Hockey on Nesson is brought to you by Subaru of New England, by Ace Ticket, by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com. By Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. By your New England Ford dealers. And by K-Bear, your wings throughout New England. Alongside Andy Brickley with Jamie Erdahl at ice level and our NESN production crew, I'm Jack Edwards. It's 1-1 as the Dallas Stars and Boston Bruins are locked up in Tyler Seguin's return to Boston as a member of this Dallas hockey club. Jamie Erdahl is in the Xfinity high-def zone.
You'll find us here a lot in the Xfinity HD zone over the next week as the Bruins are opening up their longest homestand of the season. Thursday, the Florida Panthers are in town. Tim Thomas questionable to make his return to Boston. Saturday, Phil Kessel is here with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it's also Progeria night as Foxborough native Sam Burns will be here to drop the puck. Monday is Veterans Day. The Bruins will host a program for Military Appreciation Day, and the homestand, Jack, will close out a week from Thursday. The Bruins hosting the Columbus Blue Jackets.
It's a very busy November schedule for the Bruins, but this is a chance, Brick, really to set the tone.
It's something that I think all Bruins fans were anticipating this Bruins team would be like, particularly in the first 2 months of the season. Something we've talked about a lot, in that sense of unfinished business when the playoffs ended a year ago. Despite going to the Stanley Cup final, losing the way they did in Game 6, that this year had more meaning to this Bruins core group. And I know it's a marathon. You know it's an 82-game schedule, but they know they have another gear. They know they can play much better and play to that identity. I thought it was one of their best first-period skating games we've seen all year.
Jamie Benn turns and fires just wide of the glove side post. The first period summary brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. Stefan Robidon's shot deflects through the slot. Boychuk takes the Jamie Benn hit, but can't move it out. Nishushkin giving Chara a little bit of trouble, but he muscles the puck forward to Eriksson, who chops to center. Jamie Benn holds wide. Nishushkin with the drive and a stick save by Rask. Valeri Nishushkin speaks hardly any English, but he will tell you how to pronounce his name if you're patient with him. It took me 3 tries this morning, but he finally gave me the smile. He said, "Yeah, you got it."
Why, we call him Valerie?
Exactly. It's going to end up being Val, you know that. Boychuk's pass deflects as Eriksson had flown the zone and was there, but it would have taken a perfect pass. Now Bergeron wedges for the puck, gets it center, but it's off Lucic's skate, and Eakin skates it into the neutral zone. Chiasson on the left, the drop pass, Jordy Benn the shot into Rask's gut. And Dallas will try to skate and increase the pace anytime it can.
A little exchange going on behind the play after the puck had gone up the ice. The Bruins were looking for a long pass. Eriksson flew the zone, and behind the play, he had a little list going on. Chara and Robida.
As we said before, Stefan Robidon's a warrior. He's given up 60 pounds in that exchange, but tried not to back down. 7th round draft choice back in 1995. Goligoski, the serpentine route into the Boston zone. Chiasson on the near boards. Here's Cole, the shot. Rask makes the save. It tumbles out, and he clamps down on the puck. And Chiasson doing what a good opportunistic forward will do, crashing the goal as he saw the puck spill out.
This is a result of good board work by the Dallas Stars. They win the puck battle. between the tops of the circles and the offensive blue line, and they're able to make a quick play. Eakin, nice little short pass, one of the most effective passes in the offensive zone, able to feed Cole.
Beverly with Cole on his left and Fiddler on his right. Torrey Krug shields the puck and gets it to McQuaid. Through a lot of traffic, Soderberg picks it up on the backhand against Gonchar. Gonchar wedges him over on the boards. Fiddler quick to the end wall to win it against Riley Smith. Daly shoves the puck ahead. Now here's Cole barreling through the left side of the neutral zone. But McQuaid's in front. Kelly's behind. No room for Cole. Face-off will come back to the center dot.
I want to go back to Robidoux, what you were talking about him and the courage that he plays with the size that he has. I want to go back a number of years when Dave Tippett was coaching the Dallas Stars, and Robidoux was coming up for a contract, and you talk to Tippett and say, who am I going to like tonight that maybe flies under the radar? And he said, Robidoux is a special player, but don't talk him up too big. We're trying to sign him.
Here's a rush for Antoine Roussel. Wacky bounce. Campbell starts it out. Roussel tries to close down his space. Thornton wing to Paille takes it on a bounce to Campbell. A shot just wide on the glove side. Gregory Campbell still looking for his first goal of the season. Shoves it off of Lettinen right at the post. McQuaid buries Garbutt on the boards. Krug with some big strides runs into Roussel's stick check. Roussel tries to drop it off. Krug locks him up. Roussel continues to battle. Roussel finds the puck and nudges it to Robidoux. The drive goes off McQuaid's leg. Thornton wiggles it to the line. Robidoux the slap pass. Roussel still out there. Trickles the puck to Nishushkin in the corner. Nishushkin to Sagan, stabbing it away from Campbell. Dillon keeps the puck in the zone for the moment. Nishushkin with the quick stop in front of his bench, and Paille stands him up. But here comes Sagan. Left to right through the neutral zone and into the Boston end. Sagan the centering pass, and Rask sticks the puck to the far board. Paille to Campbell. Softly trickles it off Eriksson in on Lettinen. Brendan Dillon. Robidoux. Chara holding the puck in the attacking zone against Jamie Benn, but Benn wins it over to Dillon. He takes the space into Sagan's skates. Sagan maneuvering in the Boston zone. Throws it middle. It bounces all the way through past Chara. Dillon, the defenseman, hacks the backhand to the end board. Nishushkin with a lot of speed to get to Boychuk, but he manages the puck. Chara, Marchand drops it back to Bergeron. Jordy Benn turning to the corner. Marchand on one side and Bergeron on the other. Chiasson bunts it indirect for Whitney up the wing. Boychuk back Whitney. Kept Boychuk from making a smooth play, but it's going to be a hook. Whitney not happy with the call, but he'll go to the box. In his 22nd season, you know, the definition of hooking's changed a lot during his career.
I don't think he could argue on his first penalty call back in the first period when he got that stick up high on David Krejci. He might have an argument on this one. Not a whole lot of stick work there on Whitney in that one-on-one battle with Boychuk, but the Bruins are the beneficiaries.
Lucic tossed out of the draw. McGinley will go back to the point as Krejci takes it. Lucic now on the hash marks in the middle of the ice with Chara on the left wing boards and Krug out at the middle of the blue line. Krejci wins the faceoff against Fiddler. McGinley tosses it to Chara down low. Dillon can't get the puck away from the big man. Chara hard off the boards. Krug, the good reach, changes the angle by moving across the line into Lucic's skates. Lucic low for Chara. Chara looking for Krejci. Robidoux with good stick position to knock the puck away. Lucic through the rotation to Chara, throws it toward Krug underneath his stick. Lucic turning at the top of the circle, swivels away from Fiddler, finds the seam. McGinley off the boards to Krug to Lucic, tries to go cross ice. Roussel with good stick position to deflect the puck away.
Yeah, you work real hard to maintain possession. Guys getting in position for possession passes, and then you turn it over.
Garbutt takes a big hit from Krejci to wobble it all the way down the rink. Bergeron comes over the boards. The Bruins still with more than a minute to go on this man advantage. Chara waiting at the attacking line as Bergeron carries into the zone. Flicks down the boards. Lucic banks it looking for Chara. Horkoff gets in the way. Goligoski swatting at the puck. Gets it to Daly. Daly turns, cocks, and fires that sucker 200 feet.
Dallas doing a nice job. We mentioned it on the cold chance. They're winning the battles along the boards right now here in the second period.
Board battles were a real problem for the Bruins against the Islanders on Saturday with a disappointing effort and result from Boston. Cody Eakin jamming along the boards with Soderberg. Smith in there takes a whack at the puck. It squirts all the way across the zone. Dougie Hamilton corrals it. Taps down for Smith. Back to Hamilton in motion. Here's Smith off the wall. The shot goes off Dillon, the defenseman. Soderberg quick to it in the corner. Trickles it back to Hamilton. Again, he pulls it off the wall. Here's Soderberg in motion. Now it's Eriksson holding low. Tries to jam it inside the post. Soderberg picks it up. Can't complete the wraparound as Chiasson's there. And another penalty coming against Dallas. This is high sticking.
It's going to go on Dillon. Locked up in a battle on that short side when the Bruins work the overload. They try to take the puck to the net. Louis Eriksson.
Dallas penalty number 4, 2 minutes, high sticking.
Louis Eriksson had the puck. He tried to sneak one short side. Soderberg tried to jump on the rebound. Prior to that was the high stick by Dillon, and he'll go to the box with just 4 seconds remaining on the penalty to win.
Krejci, Chara, Lucic, Iginla, and Krug 5-on-3 for just a few seconds. Krug's wrist shot knocked down in front. Daly on the block. Whitney's out of the box. Iginla centers. Daly jacks it up to the line. Krug reaches as high as he can. It's going to be a hand pass against the Bruins, and the faceoff will be in the neutral zone. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Bruins have scored 7 power play goals this season, all by defensemen. Now, albeit Chara, one of them plays in front of the net now. But last season, Bruins defensemen in a 48-game season scored a total of 5 power play goals.
Well, Hamilton and Krug bring a lot more mobility to that power play, a lot more motion in the offensive zone, and it's not a power play where they'd like it to be just yet. Always a work in progress, sometimes a little streaky, but you have some different elements to the man advantage this year.
It's been since the 23rd of October against Buffalo that the Bruins have had 4 power plays in a game. They are 30th and last in the NHL in the number of power play opportunities, so their aggression is paying off. Krejci's one-timer deflected by Fiddler as he went down on his knees. Courageous play by Vern Fiddler. Milan Lucic on the half boards, looks for a seam. Krug turns on the backhand, throws it low, looking for Chara. Daly reaches around and taps the puck up into the netting.
Well, David Krejci, more of a playmaker, but a guy that can certainly score some goals. He's out at the point mainly for puck possession and to almost quarterback the power play in different aspects with his playmaking and his vision. But there are times when you have to shoot the puck. He sets up for the one-timer. Dallas doing enough with stick position and body position to get a deflected shot.
Fiddler was mighty happy that caught him in the stick. He couldn't have been more than 12 or 15 feet away from a puck probably traveling well in excess of 80 miles an hour. Rask on a bit of an adventure back of his own goal, but he gets it forward to Eriksson. Eriksson has Bergeron across the ring. Bergeron closes off a Dallas stick. Eriksson comes through the middle to wreak a little bit of havoc. Garbick can't chase it down. Hamilton there. Still more than 3/4 of a minute to go on the Boston power play. Horkoff turns and the backhand just away from Cody Eakin, who would have been in alone from the red line. Bruins a little bit out of sync here. Chiasson back of his own goal. Jordy Benn on the clear all the way down the ice. Rask sends it corner for Kelly. About 20 seconds to go in the Boston power play. The Bruins with a lot of chances, a lot of looks, but only 1 goal out of it. Jamie Benn almost picks Kelly clean. Seidenberg up to Paille on the backhand, waiting at the attacking line. Paille tries to sweep it away from Alex Goligoski, but can't. Kelly's right there in support. Seidenberg hustles to the puck. flattens it for Boychuk. His drive rings the post to the left of Lettinen. Daly and Kelly battle for the puck. Dillon's out of the box. It's back to 5-on-5. Captain Jamie Benn. Clever little pass for Brendan Dillon. Dillon races up the right side. Coxon fires and a save by Rask. Sagan waiting on the long carom. Jamie Benn takes it on the backhand. Gives it right to Marchand, though. Marchand chops it off a couple of skates. He's got 2-on-1 with Paille. Marchand's shot. Then it goes high over the glove side. It's Marchand, Jack. Marchand. We'll try to work on that. It's like the LA Raiders thing, you know? Just when you got used to calling them LA, they moved back to Oakland on it. Here comes Iginla as they go end-to-end. Marchand closes below the dot. The shot by Krejci, saved by Lettinen. Loose in front, and it's underneath a pile of Dallas Stars. Kari Lettinen emerging as the story of this game as the Bruins bring a ton of pressure in front of the Dallas goal. They still only have one.
Bruins looking to turn defense into offense. The Stars can't make a play 10 feet inside the offensive blue line, and now the Bruins turn that puck up. Quick counterattack. Great net drive by Iginla here. And what does that do? It opens up this passing lane. Marchand to David Krejci. Unfortunately for David Krejci, he's going to make this pull to the backhand. The puck just won't come with him. Hops over the blade of his stick. Dallas dodges a bullet.
Haviland Peverley on the faceoff. And Campbell gets tossed out. Peverley wins it straight back. Obada, the tap for Dillon up ahead for Peverley. Cole up the left wing, fires it on Rask. He sticks it to the end boards. Fiddler turns away from Krug's hit. Fiddler shielding the puck. The backhand along the kick plate. McQuaid goes down. Cole taps it back to Dillon. He rotates off the boards. The shot on Rask. It's loose in front. Fiddler digging away, and Rask covers up.
Eastern Bank invites you to support Toys for Tots this holiday season by dropping off a new unwrapped toy at any Eastern Bank location before December 14th, or simply donate online by going to easternbank.com/Toys for Tots.
Alex Chiasson, an interesting story. This is a kid born in Montreal. Education, a huge thing for his family. And he decided he wanted to go to a U.S. college. Ended up at Boston University, but along the way, he went to prep school in Lake Placid, New York. When he arrived there, he did not speak a word of English and had to learn the language on the fly. But a very inquisitive, thoughtful player who got off to a remarkable start in his NHL career before a shoulder injury slowed him down last year. He had 6 goals in his first 6 NHL games. A lot of parts of the package are there. Eakin has broken his stick, so the Bruins have a de facto power play with the long change in the second period, but they can't take advantage. They don't call Ray Whitney the wizard for nothing, and here he comes after making the block. Whitney tosses it off Lucic's stick as he was looking for Gonchar. Jordy Benn down the boards. Eakin holds it, spins away from Seidenberg. Seidenberg locks him up, and it comes up the half board. Eakin trickles it middle. Hamilton skates it out of trouble, whacks it off the glass. Rattles down for Gonchar. Jordy Benn, the quick banking pass for Chiasson. Now it's Seidenberg. Seidenberg all the way to the corner with Eakin. Bergeron one-hands the tap for Lucic. Back to Bergeron. Bergeron tosses it wide for Eriksson. Goligoski with the reach to keep Eriksson from penetrating. Bergeron wins the puck battle. Eriksson in the corner. He's got Lucic in the slot. Lucic holds, gives to Krug with Bergeron screening. The shot through the slot, and Eriksson recovers it out of the corner. Eriksson holds, throws it low for Bergeron. This is 5-on-5 play, but the Bergeron line's taking over. Here's Marchand. Eriksson in close support. Marchand turns off the boards. Bergeron turns, fires it, ramps up and hits Goligoski right in the mug. Now here's Garbett, works it out of his own end. Antoine Roussel. If you remember Tyler Seguin's rookie game against the Islanders, Roussel was Bruins property. He had a nice tussle with Travis Hamonic that night here at TD Garden.
Didn't remember that.
I remember because Jim Martin was on vacation and I was doing PA and they were yelling at each other in the penalty bench and I was getting scared. Yeah, that was the night that Ryan Squinter stuck a fork in him. Squinter's been sent down to Providence. Bruins working here. More attacking zone time. Johnny Boychuk's wrist shot. The tip by Smith on the doorstep. Kelly's drive into the pile off Brendan Dillon. He felt it, but he couldn't find it. Lettinen is on his game tonight. The Bruins pouring a lot of rubber at the Dallas net. Brendan Dillon gets a second chance to get into the Boston zone. Rask snaps the puck off the end boards. Chara to Thornton. Up the wall. Paille one-hands it. Tries for the self-pass, but Gonchar is on it. Daly with Thornton pressuring. Now it's Paille's turn. Daly to Gonchar. Goes north and south to Cole, wing to wing now for Peverley, but Fiddler's ahead of the play. 7:38 to go, second period. Bruins rewind coming up in just 30 seconds. Stay with us.
Time now for the Berkshire Bank exciting rewind. We're going to rewind it back to the first period. Bruins down 1-0 on the Jamie Benn goal. The Bruins are able to tie it up, and it's a quality shift by a 5-man offensive attack in the offensive zone. Both defensemen involved. But it's really about puck pursuit and taking away time and space from the Dallas Stars. All 5 guys in a nice rotation in the offensive zone, and it has McQuaid pitching down the wall, has Krug coming down the wall, but the forwards have to do their jobs as well, which means rotate out high. Kelly's able to come back, middle of your screen. He's protecting for Krug. Heads up play by Krug. I don't have a shooting lane. Create something. And now McQuaid, who's at the right point. He has to make a decision. Do I have time? Is this the right decision? Pinch down? Yes, it is. Takes the wall away from Cole. And here's that puck pursuit by the forwards. Starts with Smith. But watch Soderberg. From one side of the ice, pursuing to the other side of the ice, and just that kind of effort. The skating game, which was there in the first period by Boston, allows Krug to pinch down. Why? Because Kelly rotates back. And Krug does not vacate an offensive posture. He's going to act as a forward. I know I have Kelly back at that left point. I can stay in here, create a quick 3-on-2 with a net drive off that far post. Riley Smith's able to find him with a perfect pass.
I can watch that stuff all day long, Brick. Mike Napoli's in the house. Got a nice ovation during the break. Still got the beard going. Krejci to Iginla, working against Robidas. Off Robidas' stick. It hits the apron of the goal. Lucic shields the puck from Robidas, but it trickles back. Now here's Valeri Nichushkin. Chara. Lucic gets hit hard on Jamie Benn's check. He stuck his shoulder right in Lucic's chest. Part of the reason he's the Dallas captain. Nichushkin getting the hit by Chara. Ben gets spun around on Boychuk's bang. Iginla taps to Chara. Reverses to Boychuk. Whitney in his face. Boychuk sizzles it the length of the ice. And we got a game break with Dale Arnold. Dale.
Thank you, Jack. Our Toyota game break. St. Louis Blues at the Canadiens. Douglas Murray trying to get the puck from behind the net. David Backes pushes him off. Gets it to Alexander Steen, who fires it past Carey Price, 13th of the year. St. Louis with a 1-0 lead. Jack?
Alex Steen, such a tremendous skater and having a career year, really taking control of that Blues team.
You know you're getting old when you say, yeah, you know, I played with his dad.
His dad, right. Yep.
Who was a pretty terrific player himself, Thomas Steen.
As we were preparing this game, well, here's Bergeron, the drive off the post. Louis Eriksson finds it in his skates. Whitney right in the passing lane. Cross ice, here's Chiasson. The snapshot got a lot on it, and Rask steers it to the corner. Bergeron chops it out of the zone.
Bergeron got a lot on that drive. High slot. He wasn't close to the net. He teed one up. He let him clean glove side. Caught all iron.
Marchand working Goligoski's side of the ice. Banks it back. Seidenberg can't keep it on the line. Goligoski center circle, eking through the legs. Bergeron banks the backhand for Marchand. He goes indirect for Smith, who tries to dance around Goligoski. Goligoski, good body position, but here's Smith with the steal from Cole, and there's Soderberg barreling into the corner. The quick turn from Kelly off the stick of Chiasson. Now down to the corner. Smith with a good arc after he stole the puck. Soderberg's pursuit, as you were showing in the rewind, it's so obvious when he now makes these cross-ice ventures in the next shift where we see him. He has got a powerful stride.
Yeah, he's learning the pace of the NHL, and he's adjusting to play a wing position.
Fiddler off the back of the goal. Smith to Soderberg. He absorbs the hit from Roussel and flips it in. On Letton. And rattles around on Robidoux. Peverley can't control. Campbell off Peverley. Finds the carom. Throws it right onto Fiddler's stick. It's back to center. Krug to Thornton. Robidoux takes a run at him. Now Dillon. Campbell gives him a bump. Thornton comes down the boards, but the Stars get it past Peverley out to center. Johnny Boychuk hard around into the zone. Thornton in front of the Zamboni door. Dillon gets away from Campbell, but there's Thornton, the next layer. The puck rolls up on the skirt of the net. Campbell in front, but Lettinen finds it first. 4:19 to go, second period. The Bruins and Dallas Stars in a high-tempo tight one at TD Garden.
With the Stars in town, good time to check in with the prospects that came to the Bruins from that trade with Dallas this summer. Matt Fraser and Joe Morrow have both played in 10 games for the Providence Bruins so far this season, providing 8 goals and 5 helpers between the two of them. And Fraser with the spark on the man advantage, 3 power play goals, Jack, as you always speak to the upward depth pressure that the Bruins benefit from.
It's remarkable how Peter Chiarelli has restocked and reloaded so quickly.
Yeah, and Fraser again being a top goal scorer at the American League level, and it's just a matter of the rest of his game getting to where it needs to get in order to put pressure on the guys that are playing here in Boston, which is what you want, that organizational depth and playing to your strengths when you're American League and working on your weaknesses.
Rask rattles it around off the glass. There's Roussel, throws it right through the slot. It angles away from Dillon. Roussel's family lived in Roubaix, France, and when he was a teenager, they said, "That's it, we're moving." They moved to Mont-Tremblant in Quebec, opened a bed and breakfast. I said, "Why?" He said, midlife crisis. Time to go. Here is Roussel. Brings it over to Jordy Benn. Off Lucic's stick. Roussel's shot saved by Rask.
Well, after a first period where it appeared Boston was going to get the lead in this hockey game, once they tied it up 1-1 on the Krug goal, they had tremendous momentum. They had a couple power play opportunities on top of that first power play chance that they had. But Dallas has done a nice job hanging in there. They started to tilt the ice back level late in the first period, and I think they've done a pretty good job in the board battles here in period number 2.
Nichushkin, a rangy kid, 6'4". High-end skills. Ben to Goligoski, the backup, looking for Nichushkin's tip as he was coming off the end boards. Jordy Ben to Nichushkin. The rip right on Rask and a save. Nichushkin throws it in front again. Jamie Benn after it, but Rask finds the puck. And there's the battle worthiness of the Dallas Stars. And Jamie Benn and Zdeno Chara having a go. And Chara reaching over and grabbing Ben's sweater.
I think that there's one criticism of Jamie Benn when it comes to the physical aspect of the game. You saw that hit he made on Lucic, where Lucic really had no opportunity to go shoulder to shoulder with him face up. I'm not saying he's a guy that comes from a blind side or hits from behind, but he's the aggressor when he knows that you're not going to be in a position to go face up. And there's that stick. I guess when you go against Chara, it's your best way to protect yourself is get that lumber up every now and then.
Shots on goal are 22-21 in favor of the Bruins, but remember it was 15-1 at one point. So Rask makes the save on Whitney's quick shot. You know, it's hard not to notice that Whitney played for Utah in 1997 when you go through his resume. I know somebody else who played for that team, Rick.
Very briefly. But he was a guy that should have been in the National Hockey League at that time, and just kind of sorting some things out in his career. Well, he figured it out.
Yeah. See, apparently sorted him out pretty well. Won a cup with Carolina in 06. And a guy who can work angles and alleys and seams about as well as anybody. Have some fun at hockeydatabase.com sometime and look at his assist numbers. Carl Soderberg muscles the puck out into the neutral zone. Rich Peverley with a quick couple of steps, turns it, and Seidenberg dives and pokes the puck away, losing his stick in the process. Seidenberg had an all-or-nothing situation, and he got enough of the puck to break up Peverley's rush.
Yeah, Peverley's a pretty explosive skater, and he had the advantage. Puck out in front of him, away from Seidenberg. Not only does Seidenberg get the puck, he avoids any kind of penalty on the play.
So the Bruins pretty much set the early tone, although Dallas had the first goal. But since then, the Stars have upped the ante. Now can the Bruins raise it to a higher level?
Yeah, Bruins got to get better execution with their puck management. That was another turnover right there, again, in that area where they've turned the puck over several times tonight. They've given up quality scoring chances. If it wasn't for the Seidenberg dive, they would have given up a breakaway chance for Peverley. Bruins got to get better in the compete level areas of the ice. That's an unbelievable play. Full extension, great angle, and he gets all puck.
Dennis Seidenberg's followers know that he was a great junior tennis player, has remarkable hand-eye coordination, and really knows how to stay balanced in all situations. And you saw him set up that dive for the puck. It's time to go. Peverley wins the faceoff back for Goligoski. Lucic caves him in. McGinley on the bouncing puck, but here's Peverley 2-on-1 with Fiddler. Peverley's backhand, a little flick up high, and Rask makes the save, gets a quick whistle. The puck was sitting right there in the crease, but the referee lost sight of it, and the Bruins get the benefit of that.
Now, Jerome McGinley is going to rotate back, but that puck gets by him, and Peverley, like we've seen a lot in the second period, able to win that battle, protect it. He can't pull it to his forehand because Chara's drifting back towards that slot area. So he's got to use the backhand shot, but sometimes those are really difficult for the goaltender to read, especially if it's on edge.
Ben to take the face-off, and Sagan is in a wing position along the boards. Boychuk slaps the puck around through the corner. Robida seals it in for the moment. Bergeron gets spilled in the neutral zone. Pye with a burst of speed. The shot goes off the stick of Dillon and wide. Eriksson up to the half boards. Pye looks for Bergeron. It rattles back to Robida. Chara wrists it in. Hops up on Lettinen. A little bit of trouble. Bergeron comes through with a big body check against Dillon. Throws it in front right past Pye. Boychuk through the seam. Bergeron jamming on the near side wall against Robida. Chara gives Nichushkin a big bump. And Nichushkin goes back at his own goal. About a half a minute to go in the second period. The Bruins and Stars in a 1-1 game at TD Garden. McQuaid with a lot of open ice finds Soderberg. He's got Kelly on his right. Soderberg trickles the puck to the end boards. Loads up for a hit on Gonchar. Seidenberg through the slot and wide. More of the Tyler Sagan interview coming in our second intermission. There's a late break. Roussel drawing it wide. Roussel closes. Rask sticks it away from Horkoff, and the puck lobs into the protective netting in the corner.
Well, Patrice Bergeron, after Pye gets in and forces Lettinen to make a quick play, probably the play he didn't want to make. Bergeron comes in, goes right through Dillon, gets puck possession, quick feed out to Pye. That's a tough pass to handle because it's a bullet, but it ends up back in the stick of Johnny Boychuk. And then again, Bruins turn the puck over between their deep blue line and the center ice red line, and then nearly leads to a scoring chance for Dallas.
2.7 seconds to go in the second period, and Lindy Ruff has pulled Kari Lehtinen with the faceoff 180 feet away from the Dallas goal. The shot dribbles wide as Sagan got it off, but it bounced a couple of times toward Tuukka Rask. Fiddler and Krejci having words for one another, and they'll go to the rooms 1-1 after 40 minutes. Bruins and Stars 1-1 to the third. Brick now with Doug Huda.
Dougie, you guys have had a number of quality wins this year, but was that first period the best skating first period you guys have had all season?
Well, I think we got pucks in deep, and we moved the puck, and we were supporting each other all over the ice in the first, probably the 10-12 minutes. The last part, we started to fall off a little bit, and we didn't continue to get the pucks in deep.
Yeah, it seemed like puck management got a little bit sloppy in that second period, and Dallas seemed to up the the compete level. They seem to win more of those battles along the wall.
No, you're exactly right. We turn pucks over, and when you turn pucks over at the blue line and you give quick teams like any of the Western Conference teams or any teams a quick transition there, now you're on your heels and now you're not getting the changes you want. So if you get pucks in deep, then everybody continues to roll. You get everybody out there and everybody's playing the lines. But when we're turning pucks over, then all of a sudden we're playing at our end more because we get more tired players out there.
Yeah, obviously now you're in a bit of a nice lengthy homestand. 1-1 going into the third period. Where is Dallas vulnerable so you guys can take 2 points out of this one?
Well, we definitely got to play our game. I mean, we've got to get pucks in deep, and we got to grind it down low, and we want to play in their end. We don't want to let them capitalize on any chances by us turning pucks over. So this third period, we got to do a lot better job of entering the zone and coming with some speed and supporting it well.
Thanks, Dougie.
Thanks.
Great stuff, Rick. Doug Huda talking about having to take the puck to their end. NESN zone time has the Bruins with 2.5 more minutes in Dallas's end than the Stars have it in the Bruins' end, but that's largely due to the power play time the Bruins have had. Game summary brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. And the Bruins are in a tussle. Huda mentioned the Western Conference. The West is coming into tonight 61-26-9. 61-26-9 against the East. And the Central Division, of which Dallas is a part, against the Metropolitan Division, which is Pittsburgh's division, 12-0-1. It's more than a trend. That's a pattern. Alex Goligoski retreats behind the Dallas goal. Jordy Ben pries it out of the referee's skates. Krejci right there. Now Lucic knocks the puck down into the corner. The Bruins winning some puck battles here to open the third. Iginla spins off the Jordy Ben hit, goes right to the goal and trickles across the goal. Now Dougie Hamilton pitches in all the way past the goal line. Cody Eakin looks for a quick transition. Jamie Benn out to the neutral zone ahead of Eakin. Nice timing on the banking pass. The shot off the stick of Seidenberg and it hits glass and goes out of play.
The Bruins allowing a little too much open ice. Talk about good gaps all the time, but Seidenberg and Hamilton found themselves a little deep in the defensive zone on this little delay pass.
At all times. Thank you.
Ben's going for a line change, but he just goes indirect off the wall in center ice to allow Eakin to skate into it. And was it Chiasson that was driving up by the blue line? It was backing people off, and it took Seidenberg off the blue line and allowed Eakin to get in pretty close to the goal.
Eakin, Whitney, and Chiasson up front. Seidenberg rips it off the corner boards. Nice stop by Soderberg to flatten the puck. Smith can't drag it along. Here's Soderberg busting down the slot, but Eakin gets good body position on him. The quick turn goes between Soderberg and Smith. The puck loose into the neutral zone. Hamilton sweeps it in and rides the dasher for a moment. Smith shows one way, goes the other on Jordy Ben. Chiasson gets knocked over on Kelly's hit, but Jordy Ben makes the nice tap. Whitney gets past Hamilton. Whitney on the backhand into the middle. A kick saved by Rask and a quick shot from Daly. Garbett is picking up pieces back of the goal, and he's gashed pretty good here. Bruins are going to have a penalty on them. Riley Smith making his way to the penalty bench.
Well, this play never should just happen, plain and simple. Why does Whitney have the puck? He just picked the stick of Dougie Hamilton when that puck was up for grabs around the faceoff dot. That's where the Bruins get in trouble. Hamilton's in real good position. For the savvy veteran, Whitney, great stick lift, leads to a scoring chance. follow-up chance and away behind the play. The left corner of the ring, to the left of Tuukka Rask. Riley Smith guilty of a double minor, Jack.
Yep. So Dallas has a golden opportunity here. But the Bruins clear off the drop. High and Campbell are the penalty-killing forwards, with Chara and Boychuk the defensive pair. Nishushkin is at the attacking line. Goligoski gives to Peverley. Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin also out there. Loose puck. Rask holds the post on Jamie Benn. Chara wins the puck battle against Benn. Doesn't have enough muscle to get it out of the zone, though. Peverley down the boards. Nishushkin with the quick turn. Benn bounces it back to Peverley along the line to Goligoski. Seguin on the half boards, closes the drive, goes off Jamie Benn in front, and Rask gives Benn a pretty good whack just for good measure. Nishushkin, trouble from Campbell from one side, Boychuk from the other, and Campbell makes the clear.
More importantly, Boychuk, he saw that Nishushkin was, how do you say it again?
Nishushkin.
Nishushkin was
Yeah.
getting a little comfortable with the puck, so he attacked him, created the turnover.
Chiasson in the corner. Seidenberg pokes the puck away. It comes back to Gonchar, turns it off the backhand, flattens the puck. Now Daly, who's got a big shot, drives it into McQuaid's legs. Marchand works it across the center circle, trickles it forward, and then bangs Gonchar. Here's Bergeron still in the attacking zone. The backhand saved by Lehtinen. Marchand and Bergeron, who were so spectacular in Game 7 at Vancouver in 2011, shorthanded, almost hook up again. Gonchar wiggles over the Boston line. Louis Eriksson had Kelly ahead on the left wing, elected to go for the safe play.
Well, he was committed to making the safe play, and at the last second, he saw Kelly.
Kelly locks up with Cody Eakin. Cross-ice pass, handcuffs Seguin between the blade and the skates. Seguin, the dart down to Jamie Benn, feeds it high slot. Goligoski off the heel of the stick. Peverley flattens the puck, and Kelly attacks it. Here's Goligoski, walks in, the wrist shot, and a save by Rask. Jamie Benn digs it loose. Goligoski to Seguin, the one-timer saved by Rask. Jamie Benn tries to kick it slot. The Bruins clear, but not out. Goligoski hustles to the boards to save it in the attacking zone for the Stars. Jamie Benn works it to the half boards. Kelly intercepts a centering pass and sends it down the river.
Pretty good effort by the penalty killers. You're going to give up some shots. Seguin let a good drive go on this power play. But then it's about collapsing and not allowing that second chance.
Well into the second half of the double minor against Riley Smith for high-sticking Ryan Garbutt. Here comes Whitney on the pivot. Whitney holds down by the hash marks. Daly off the boards to Goligoski, closing at the top of the circle. Daly fakes the shot. Here's Whitney's drive. Seidenberg on the block, and he knocks it the length of the ring.
Heads up play by Seidenberg. Don't get caught chasing the puck or watching the puck. He held his ground, stayed right in the shooting line.
Gonchar into the middle to Whitney, back to Gonchar. Now Chiasson goes past Marchand, slips it back to Gonchar. Gonchar, the tight radius, down the boards now. Daly takes the cross-ice pass. Whitney to Daly. Gonchar's one-timer off Chara's skate. Whitney recovers the puck, throws it middle. Marchand there, but he can't clear the zone. Takes a shot at Gonchar, rolls him down. Now here's Daly closing, doesn't get anything on the wrist shot, and Bergeron starts it back in transition. Marchand draws the puck wide, throws it in deep, and the Bruins will get a clean change with 15 seconds to go in the double minor. Jamie Benn, Krejci draped all over him, and Krejci's going to go here.
Both of them.
Yeah, Jamie Benn, you could hear the voice and then the exaggerated reaction to Krejci draping himself over the Dallas captain.
Well, Benn's trying to explode through the neutral zone. Krejci gets a pretty good angle on him, but he loses an edge. And he's pulling his arms out and away, and it sure looked like Ben was helping keep that stick in there, and then he took the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, where you help the penalty along. Nice job by the Bruins penalty killers. You know, they didn't use the power play to this point in the hockey game, 0 for 4. to really generate more momentum in this hockey game. Well, maybe they can use a 4-minute penalty kill to turn some momentum in their favor.
Well, especially this Bruins team, we have seen so many times players feed off each other's efforts. With manpower already reduced, it'll be a 5-on-4 situation here instead of going to 4-on-3. With the matching, or coincidental, I should say, minor penalties. Oh, Fiddler gets tagged by Seidenberg on the end boards. Seidenberg had the leverage and he drove his shoulder directly into the middle of Fiddler's chest.
Fiddler's a gamer, but he's been on the wrong side of a couple of hits tonight. The reaction play by Boychuk after the big hit on Cole, and then that one by Seidenberg.
Eakin pokes the puck away from Seidenberg. Hamilton's there. Eakin takes it away from him as well. Now Kelly looks over his shoulder. Here comes Eakin. Kelly just hoists it out to center. It bounced away from Robidas. Lucic barreling down the wing, and Robidas leaves his skates to whack it away from Lucic. Stefan Robidas making a difference for Dallas. Lucic gets under Eakin, but Robidas is there. Robidas chips the pass for Whitney. McQuaid finds it and swivels it in behind Lehtinen. Now Dillon with a little bit of steam out of his own zone works around Bergeron. Whitney one-hands it in on Rask. Krug under pressure. Bergeron bunts the puck wide to Marchand. If you're just joining us, that's how he wants his name pronounced. Louis Eriksson over the line, tosses to Marchand. Marchand pulls up bottom of the circle, high slot behind Chara. Got a skate on it. He chips it through the corner. Bergeron into Marchand's skates. Marchand looking for Eriksson in the middle. Jordy Benn on the block. Bergeron shot. Marchand the rebound. Lehtinen makes the save and holds the puck. 12:41 to go in the game. Dallas up the ante physically. Dennis Seidenberg ready to match it. He caught some head there, didn't he? I think I was mistaken. I thought Seidenberg put his shoulder right in Fiddler's chest, and on that replay, he clearly conceded the head was the principal point of contact. Is that going to be a Shanahan special?
Absolutely not. That was a good hockey hit by Seidenberg. You know, you got to put some responsibility on the guy that sticks his head down just before the hit comes.
That was a brutal collision, but as you said, Fiddler's a gamer. Jordy Benn, the wrist shot and a blocker saved by Rask. McQuaid gets nasty with Roussel.
Just to finish that thought on the Seidenberg hit check, a lot of board battles in this sport. To this day, there's going to be body contact where the head gets hit as part of the hit. And I think that's just a good hockey play by Seidenberg. That's the physicality you want in the game. That's not Seidenberg targeting a guy's head.
No, he definitely was not targeting it. Not by any means saying he was targeting the head.
But I'm saying the head could be the principal point of contact on 100 hits in a game when there's battles along the wall.
Yep. Well, the NHL Department of Player Safety looks at every single game, at all the video. Rask making the save. Rask has come up with a couple of big stops. He had a blocker save just a few moments ago. Dallas has upped its battle level and has won an awful lot of puck battles. Eric Cole digs the puck loose. Rich Peverly turns, looks for Cole. The one-hander comes off Paille and deflects back to Tuukka Rask.
Catch episode 4 of Behind the B, presented by Alex and Ani, this Monday night at 7:30. Missed the last 3 episodes? Stream them online wherever and whenever you want by visiting bostonbruins.com/behindtheb.
Rick, I believe the Bruins have not led in a game since they were leading New Jersey. It's 4 in a row. They have not scored the first goal. Ben tries a no-angle shot, and it goes wide of the post. Jamie Benn against Johnny Boychuk on the half boards. Eriksson taps the puck loose. Boychuk off the corner for Chara, around for Marchand, slips it to Bergeron, making himself available, the very thing about which Doug Huda was talking with Brick between the second and third periods. Boychuk long ahead for Marchand. He picks it up on the end boards looking for Bergeron. Bergeron against Nishushkin. Boychuk on the half boards into the corner past Marchand. Eriksson for Bergeron to Marchand. He dekes the shot, saved by Lehtinen. Marchand holds past Bergeron's reach. Jamie Benn legs it out, crisscrosses in front of Tyler Seguin. Zdeno Chara out to Milan Lucic. Bergeron bounces it ahead of Lucic. He dances around Jordy Benn. A-frames for a little bit of space. Chiasson makes the play through the corner. Jordy Benn out ahead of Alex Goligoski. Goligoski gains the line. Whitney high slot. Goligoski fans on the shot and then whips it around. Jordy Benn taps the backhand low for Cody Eakin. Now Chiasson back to Goligoski. The shot pinballs around. Whitney's shot down the slot. Goligoski through the corner. Chiasson. Seidenberg knocks him off his skates. Whitney unopposed on the far side. Good zone time for Dallas. Eakin coming through the middle. Krejci tries to keep him on the perimeter. Lucic over to help out. Eakin wins the puck battle. Jordy Benn hard along the line for Goligoski. Goligoski closes down the half boards, wiggles all the way forward to the goal line. Krejci goes over, plays the body. Eakin takes the puck. Dallas wins another puck battle. Peverley's backup drive. Oh, he got some Chinese mustard on that one. It goes off the corner boards and goes 200 feet the other way.
Yeah, a lot of Dallas' strategy in the offensive zone. If they don't have a shot to the net, because the Bruins will clog it up in the slot area, they're using that harder round back behind the net for possession.
Rask grabs the one hopper. 9:40 to go in the game. It's getting tense at TD Garden. 1-1 the Bruins and the Dallas Stars. The Audi Performance Play is brought to you by your local New England Audi dealers. Experience Audi Quattro all-wheel drive today. Dennis Seidenberg. There's your four-wheel from number 44. My goodness, the timing to break up Rich Peverley's rush. A lot of difference making plays in defensive zones tonight on both sides.
Well, here we go again. 1-1 on home ice with Tuukka Rask in goal. His goals against on home ice, Jeff, what'd you say, was about 1.8?
Yeah.
One game over 500. Time to score some goals and put 2 points down.
Kelly loops it into space. A little backspin for Riley Smith. Pulls it through. Daly gets the shot on Lehtinen, and the Bruins will get an attacking zone faceoff out of it.
Riley Smith using some good legs, coming down the off wing, keeping the play alive. Bruins able to chip that puck to space. Doesn't get a lot on it because Daly's right in the way, but the effort was there.
Is the backspin just kind of a leftover facet of that pass, or do you intend to put backspin on?
You hope to get it. That's not a Pro V.
Smith in the corner. Dillon really unloading on him, but Smith holds his ground, comes out of it with the puck, tries to slip it through. Dillon pokes it away before it gets to Kelly. Nishushkin, far side. Goes in deep. Boychuk gets there before Seguin does. Smith winning the puck battle against Benn. Chara chips off glass. Kelly, Daly bats it up to the Boston line. Boychuk quickly to the captain. It hops over Chara's stick, working against Seguin. Soderberg shoves it up the wall. Gonchar D-to-D to Daly. Daly goes on the diagonal for Seguin. He scoops the backhand on to the end boards and goes off for a change. Krejci saucers the pass for Johnny Boychuk. Now Iginla slowly ahead of Lucic. Lehtinen plays it off the glass. Iginla knocks it down. Iginla in the corner trying to get away from Fiddler and Daly. Daly whacks the puck away from Lucic. Hamilton to Lucic. Hard pass cross ice. Seidenberg catches it in the air, throws it into Daly's body. Iginla mugs Daly and the puck spills out. Now here's Krejci finding Hamilton, top of the slot, scores! What a magical pass! It was deflected in front. Lucic and Iginla on the doorstep, but Krejci's pass to Hamilton, a thing of beauty, and the Bruins lead 2-1. Mercy, what a pass!
Well, there's some compete level there by this line, the Bruins' top offensive line all year long. Watch this play here. An aerial pass to Dennis Seidenberg. Not only is he able to knock it down, he's able to knock it down and corral it right in a perfect spot to make a play. And Jerome McGinley, this is a great battle right here. Knock Daly off the puck. That frees it up for David Krejci. That's that support Doug Huda was talking about in between periods. And you don't need a slap shot from the point. That quick release, Dougie Hamilton on target, and Bonnie's in front of the net. It's basic, it's fundamental.
Here comes Eriksson. And it's off Robidas. Robidas flattens Eriksson. Bergeron with a one-timer off Marchand's short feed. The Bruins with a surge of energy here. Bergeron throws it across the line. Marchand to Eriksson. Pivots away from Dillon. McQuaid has a lane. The shot saved by Lehtinen. And he grabs the spilling rebound.
Pretty good effort here by this follow-up line, the Bergeron line after the goal by the Krejci line. They get what appears to be a 2-on-1 right here for Louis Eriksson. Eriksson tries to force one to the top of the crease. That gets knocked down. They hit by Robidas from behind. That's a good non-call. But Bergeron gets an opportunity for the high slot. He beat Lehtinen back in the second period with a shot from about the same distance. That was glove side. This one was blocker, but Lehtinen got it.
McGinley jumps into the circle, so Krejci gets thrown out of the draw. Jamie Benn against Jerome McGinley now. McGinley originally drafted by the Dallas Stars, and he wins it back to Boychuk, to Lucic, down to Krejci at the goal line, trying to get away from Goligoski. Krejci all the way out to the point, hard cross ice, and he gets it all the way across to Boychuk. Tyler Seguin now up but not out of the zone. Boychuk drills it back down the boards. Jamie Benn the blind pass. It's along the line, and McGinley's there in pursuit. Boychuk nudges the puck ahead. Krejci turns and wrists it off the corner boards. Lets it into Goligoski. Nishushkin has problems with Chara. Who doesn't? Lucic in the corner against Goligoski. Now Krejci. The Bruins winning the majority of puck battles here. Krejci cycles it to Lucic. Jordy Ben is on Lucic. And there's Krejci in close support, but Goligoski turning toward the middle of his own zone. Rick, we go back to that interview you had with Doug Huda, and he talked about how the Bruins were supporting each other in the first 12 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and getting pucks deep is another phrase they like to use, and win those battles down below. We got to play to our identity, and that's a big part of our offense.
Soderberg wristing it in on Lehtinen. And is that Gonchar who's down in the corner? Yeah. I don't know if he caught an errant stick or if it was incidental.
Well, no indication of any penalties, so we'll be playing at even strength. Again, the David Krejci line. Love the play by Iginla to hit Daly from behind to free that puck up, and then the real good wrist shot with both Iginla and Lucic at the top of the crease. Just to finish that thought, it's fundamental, it's basic. Pucks to the net, bodies to the net. A 1-1 hockey game on home ice in the third period. You can get some good results with that kind of effort.
Kelly, Smith, and Soderberg. Kelly a clean win back to McQuaid. Krug the dart for Smith. Smith right back to Krug, but he couldn't keep it on the line. And it spills out to center.
Garbett went at Torrey Krug, and when the whistle blew for the offside, there was a little, I don't know if Garbett stuck his leg out or something, but that got McQuaid's attention. A little interesting exchange between a number of stars and Adam McQuaid.
Gonchar in the corner absorbs the hit from Campbell. Krug dribbles it cross ice. Thornton wrists it around. Gonchar unopposed. Pulls back from Campbell. Now Daly back of his own goal. Clicking towards 6 minutes to go. Trevor Daly, the indirect pass for Roussel. McQuaid shuts down his space, but here's Garbett to Horkoff. Horkoff didn't have a play, so he goes back to Gonchar. His drive, Campbell takes it in the body. Krug Hard off the corner boards. Thornton unable to clear the zone. Daly keeps it in. Tries a self pass off the dasher, but Campbell follows him and takes the puck away. Scoots it out to the center circle. Gonchar swiveling away from Paille. Garbutt back after repair. Daly to Gonchar off the skates of Nichushkin. Now here's Marchand. He can't make the play down the wing. Jamie Benn has Nichushkin out in front of him. Nichushkin and Chara. Nichushkin showing the big reach. Cycles it for Jamie Benn. Looks middle for Seguin. Nowhere to go but the back of the net as Bergeron was on the check. Nichushkin gives it away to Boychuk down the wall. Marchand spins off the check attempt by Goligoski. Gets it back from Bergeron across the middle. Nichushkin can't kick it loose. Bergeron against Seguin. Seguin shoved Bergeron off balance. Chara on the far side. Eriksson rotating. Drives it. Knocked down in the pile before it gets to goal. Eriksson indirect for Bergeron. Bergeron draws Seguin. Boychuk snaps the puck and hops over Eriksson's stick. Chara to Eriksson forward to the goal line. Eriksson to Boychuk. The one-timer saved by Lettinen on his line. Chara on the half boards. The Bruins getting good zone time here. Eriksson good A-framing against Jordy Benn to maintain possession of the puck. Seguin, the taunting chant from the Bruins crowd that cheered so heartily for him last year. Seidenberg, the backhand up the boards. Lucic, good body position against Brendan Dillon. Whips it center for Iginla. The soft pass for Krejci. He's got Seidenberg behind him. Krejci pulls up. Robidas steers him to the boards. Lucic in close support. Iginla puts the body on Dillon. Lucic comes in to help win the puck. Now it's Whitney in the corner. Throws it off the boards. Krejci at the blue line. Getting it in deep. Lucic and Dillon. Lucic throws Dillon off balance. Robidas comes in. Krejci trying to get it to Seidenberg, and it gets past everybody. Chiasson in a race. Rask comes out to play across ice for Iginla. Iginla ahead for Krejci, but it hits him in the skate and goes corner. Krejci trying to get away from Brendan Dillon. Trips over his stick. It's incidental, and on they go. 3-on-2 for Dallas. Here's Garbutt back from the repairs. The shot, and there's no 5-hole as Tuukka Rask closes the door. 3:24 to go in the game. Bruins leading 2-1. Milan Lucic on the doorstep. Tip in when we return. It's winning time. Boston Bruins Hockey on NESN is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, by Amica Insurance, by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com, by the Massachusetts Health Connector, by your local New England Audi dealers, and by Kettle One Vodka. Alongside Andy Brickley with Jamie Erdahl at ice level and our NESN production crew, I'm Jack Edwards. Brick, from the 26th of October to the 5th of November, the Bruins went 237 minutes, 47 seconds without having the lead. And that is a long stretch for this team. Here's Marchand, but Daly is back to poke the puck away. I mean, 237 minutes. That's a long time. They won a shootout in that period, but there's a lot of struggling, a lot of playing from behind. Seguin again, the taunt from the TD Garden crowd.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do we say, Bruins hockey, get the lead, extend the lead.
Here's Fiddler taking the pass, and Seidenberg pulls him down. Penalty shot. 2:34 to go.
Now, this is a mistake that just isn't tolerable, really, when you think about it. A 2-1 hockey game, you're under 3 minutes to go. You can't get the puck deep, but then the Bruins make a quick line change on the back end. Chara goes off, Seidenberg comes on, but Seidenberg has no chance. Fiddler's in behind all the Bruins. It's just not a heads-up hockey play, and it leads to a penalty shot.
Vern Fiddler in his 11th season. An undrafted free agent who signed with Nashville in 2002. A real battler who's been on the receiving end would love to give some back here. He scores! Top shelf with the backhand. A beautiful execution by Vernon Fiddler. And it is 2-2.
Well, sure looked like he had his mind made up. This isn't one of those, I'm going to see what Tuukka Rask gives me, and I'm going to try to take it. No, this was one of those, I'm going to attack, go to my backhand, have leverage, and try to beat him to the spot and go up high. Sure looked like he had his mind made up the minute he picked the puck up at the center ice dot, had a game plan in mind, and executed. But that's a mistake that the Bruins just cannot make, Jack. Not at this point in the hockey game. It's just not enough awareness. You know, and it's not just on the back end. It's a turnover in a bad area. You know, just outside the offensive blue line. And if that puck's not deep, no matter how close you are to the bench, you got to hang out there.
Dallas goal scored by number 38, Vernon Fiddler.
Brendan Dillon rifles it up the side. Seidenberg tries to give Fiddler a bump. Here's Horkoff forward of the goal line. The dart to Fiddler off Seidenberg's stick, and it floats off the high glass behind Rask. Horkoff goes down after contact with McQuaid's stick. On they go, Fiddler at the hash marks. Iginla trying to cave him in, and he does. The puck's underneath Fiddler. Iginla trying to kick it loose out of Fiddler's legs. Krejci stabs at the puck. It's off the apron, and Seidenberg controls. Beverly wraps up Seidenberg. Horkoff and Lucic in the corner. It bounces off the dasher. Beverly holds, goes indirect to Dillon. Along the line to Romanov. The rocket goes off the end glass. Dillon pinches down to the half boards. It's all in Boston's end right now as Dallas gets the surge of energy after the penalty shot goal by Vernon Fiddler to tie it. Here's Whitney looking for Chiasson in front, but Lucic sends Krejci ahead the other way. Lucic on a tumbling puck tries to swim around Jordy Ben. Lifts Jordy Ben's stick. Chiasson backing up the boards against Krug. And the puck goes up and out. Did it go directly off the Dallas stick? Is it an automatic delay of game penalty? The on-ice officials consult near the penalty bench.
At first blush, it looked like Dallas knocked this puck out of play of their own doing. But anytime that happens, you always point to the other team. That's clearly Dallas. That should be a minor penalty on the Stars, and the Bruins should have a power play.
They're signaling a face-off in front of the Dallas bench, just outside the Dallas line. You heard the roar come up from the crowd. They showed the replay on the HDX scoreboard and displayed directly above center ice.
Sure looks like they got this one wrong.
And Claude Julien is mighty hot under the collar, and understandably so.
Well, 4 sets of eyes on the ice, the 2 refs. I mean, Krug's not even close to that puck.
Yeah, that's off Chiasson's blade, up and over. 1:20 to go. But that's a break the Bruins don't get. And on we go. Icing against Dallas. The face-off down in the Stars' end of the ice.
That's gut check time right now for Boston, Jack. Coming off a poor performance against the Islanders. They let a game get away from them when they played New Jersey with all those power play goals, particularly late in the hockey game. They got a lengthy home stand.
Bergeron to Chara to Boychuk. The drive rattles off the legs of Garbutt. Chara with the huge reach pokes the puck away. Clicking into the final minute of the third period at TD Garden. Another icing against the Stars. So the faceoff comes back down to Lentonen's end. And Bergeron, one of the best faceoff men in the game. Well, he's going to come out and Krejci will take it.
It's been a pretty good battle in the faceoff dot tonight between these two clubs. Advantage Dallas in period 1. I believe the Bruins battled back in period 2.
27-25 according to the latest refresher on the online score page. Sagan knocks the puck to the corner. Krejci spins off Sagan's hit. Garvin deflects the puck through center. Chara draws Jamie Benn, wrists it forward. Garvin brings it back over the line. That's going to cause the offside call with 3/4 of a minute to go.
Well, an area that I think the Bruins can really improve on is when that puck comes out of the offensive zone, but it doesn't go entirely back into your own end, is what the forwards are doing in the neutral zone to generate some quick counterattack speed. And I'm not talking about the easy plays where it's easy to find open space and just jump and you have the advantage because you got half the ice. I'm talking about when there's 10 bodies between the blue lines. I think the forwards can do a better job of making themselves a little bit more available and generating a little bit more puck possession through center ice in those instances.
Fiddler and Krejci jousting on the far side. Lucic wins the faceoff back to McQuaid. 40 seconds to go. Lehtinen under pressure from Lucic. Iginla fires it right on goal. Lehtinen the kick save. Lucic nudges the puck loose. 30 seconds left. McQuaid keeps the puck in the attacking zone. Lucic out muscles Robidoux. Lucic into the corner, flicks it to Krejci in the cycle. Krejci up the boards for Seidenberg. Seidenberg reverses. Good anticipation. Iginla's waiting for it in the corner. Iginla jukes against Horcoff. Now Lucic. Robidoux bumps him. Lucic goes down, tries to one-hand it through. Horcoff spins the puck for Fiddler. 5 seconds to go. Fiddler down the length of the ice. And the siren sounds. I don't believe they will bring this back for the face-off. It'll go to OT.
Well, they're going to have to do it the hard way, Jack. They had an opportunity to put this game away under 3 minutes to go in regulation with a 2-1 lead, but a poor decision on a line change and puck management in the neutral zone gave the Stars an opportunity to take at least a point out of this one.
You know, Brick, there's only one team in the entire NHL the Bruins never have beaten in overtime. We'll tell you the answer when we come back. Save of the game brought to you by Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? Cody Eakin in the slot, the one-timer at 1-1 late first period, and Tuukka Rask. Like the old pinball games. The flipper on the left pad making the save. And there it is. 0-2-8 all time against the Minnesota North Stars / Dallas Stars in overtime. The only team the Bruins never have beaten in OT.
Time to start a new trend.
Never pass up a chance to see history, even if it's just a little bit of history. 5 minutes, 4-on-4, sudden death. Zdeno Chara, Johnny Boychuk, Patrice Bergeron with the puck, and Louis Eriksson, who just returned after missing 5 games with a concussion. Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin out there with a lot of ice. A couple of dangerous shooters. Jordy Benn, 2 years older than Jamie, with the puck right now. And Alex Goligoski, a talented offensive, attack-minded defenseman. Jordy Benn to Seguin, trickles the backhand pass through to Jamie Benn. Bergeron attacks the puck, and Boychuk shoves it through the neutral zone. Goligoski gives back to Jordy Benn. Brendan Dillon out on the ice with Cody Eakin, who you saw get robbed just moments ago. There's Eakin. He's got Chiasson in the middle, going all the way to the corner now. Dillon cocks and fires, saved by Rask. Juicy rebound. Lucic takes it. Krejci on edge, brings the puck back to Seidenberg. Seidenberg quickly to Lucic. Back to Hamilton. He's got Krejci coming across the neutral zone. Hamilton fires it into the corner. It rattles around to the near side. Dillon chops it up to the half boards. Eakin back to Dillon, back to Eakin, and he reverses to Robidoux. Ray Whitney also on the ice for Dallas. Whitney takes the short pass and works a serpentine route out of his own end. Here's Vern Fiddler, who scored the penalty shot out of Rask's glove. Dillon's backhand blocked in front. Daly picks it up, banks the pass for Fiddler. He's got Whitney in the slot. Fiddler stick handling through traffic. Whitney across the middle for Daly. Rask comes out of his crease, and Daly's stick goes pinwheeling into the corner. Gonchar to Daly. Daly fakes the shot, throws it in front looking for Whitney, but Hamilton cleans out the garbage. Fiddler on the far side comes off the boards. Whitney's shot chops off the high glass over the goal. Seidenberg unloads a big hit on Gonchar, and Dougie Hamilton takes the puck as both teams change out personnel.
Yeah, just too stationary now for Boston. Dallas getting the better of the skating game, a lot more motion.
McGinley almost makes the steal from Jordy Ben. Now Sagan trying to work his way around Chara. Sagan right across the middle for Jamie Benn, but it goes to the far side. Now Jordy Ben for Jamie Benn. Into the corner. Sagan had gone in front of the goal. Soderberg far side. Has some trouble from Jordy Ben. Hamilton leaves it for Soderberg. Hamilton changes out, and Boychuk comes on the ice. Soderberg to Iginla. Iginla gains the line. Through to Soderberg. The tight turn. Oh, Johnny Boychuk with an absolute bomb. And it caroms 200 feet the other way.
Real nice looking play. Soderberg, Iginla work it, give and go. Set up Boychuk coming late. That's a little motion.
Chara looking for the long pass for Bergeron at the attacking line, but Gonchar blocks it down. Stick handles around Bergeron. Gonchar, the shot on Rask, and Dallas gets an attacking zone faceoff with less than 2 minutes to go in overtime.
Dallas had the better of the motion in the skating game on the prior shift. Bruins just kind of standing around, not sure who's covering who, and Daly goes back door, but he can't get enough on it on that pass. And then this nice little give and go through the neutral zone. Again, Soderberg now able to find Boychuk coming late, and his bomb just missed.
Gonchar has Daly at the blue line, goes indirect off the end boards. Rask will have to take another face-off as Seidenberg steers Eakin into the back of the goal. Eakin and Chiasson up front. Bergeron wins the defensive zone face-off. Krug with the pirouette to get away from Chiasson. McQuaid to Erickson. Back to McQuaid. Three Bruins in close proximity on the right side. McQuaid, the defenseman, all the way to the corner against Daly. Daly caves him in. Bergeron trying to come out of the pile. McQuaid, the short pass to Bergeron. Here's Erickson. Erickson in the slot, low for Krug. The shot saved by Lehtinen. Maybe Daly blocked it on the slide across. McQuaid with Dallas scrambling. Bergeron's drive and a save by Lehtinen with 1:12 to go in OT.
Give McQuaid a lot of credit here. He carried this puck deep into the offensive zone. He put himself in a bad spot. He started to fall down. He got hit from behind. It looked a little ugly, but he stayed with the play. And he was able to chip this puck back for a possession that allowed Louis Erickson to walk to the middle after Bergeron found him with the backhand feed. Erickson finds Krug. Sure looked like that puck got to Letty.
Yep. Fiddler and Krejci on the faceoff. Whitney and Chara racing for the puck. Chara gets one hand on it. Here's Fiddler, the backhand, and a save by Rask. And Fiddler goes right to the crease, and Johnny Boychuk gives him some noogies. Goalies will tell you that the backhand is so difficult to read. And Fiddler knew what he wanted to do.
Yeah, don't stick your nose in there if you don't expect to get this kind of treatment.
I think of all people in this building tonight, Vern Fiddler probably expects it. He has been on the receiving end of some brutal hits.
But it was Whitney that made the play.
Yep.
We got that one-on-one battle with Chara at center ice, just outside the Bruins' defensive zone, and made something of it.
Kelly goes down. Fiddler goes down on top of him. Jordy Ben in the final minute. Here's Alex Goligoski, the two defensemen on the right side. Krug steals from Goligoski. Feeds it to Krejci. He's got Kelly ahead. Boychuk touches back for Krug. Stick handles around Whitney. Takes the space with speed. Tosses the backhand ahead of Lucic to the corner. Lucic taps away from Jordy Ben. Nobody home. Goligoski draws the puck back. 35 seconds to go in the overtime. Tyler Seguin If it goes to a shootout, you can be pretty sure you'll see him. Here's Seguin. Doesn't get much of it. Krug. Pass does not connect out of the Boston zone. No icing here. 15 seconds remaining in overtime. Last chance for Brendan Dillon and the Stars. Here comes Robidoux up the right side. Robidoux into the middle for Seguin, but McQuaid had him blocked up. Kelly to Smith. 2 seconds to go. Gets the long shot, and Lehtinen makes the last second save. It will go to a shootout.
Shots on goal in overtime.
Well, an opportunity for the Bruins to
Total shots on goal for
pick up an extra point here, Jack. Would you consider this one of those East-West games?
Yeah.
After a brief break, a shootout will take place to determine the winner
Well,
tonight.
the last points were in a shootout, weren't they?
Yep, nothing to lose. We'll be back for the shootout right after this.
Thursday night at 6:30, catch up with Dale, Billy, and Barry when WB Mason presents Bruins Face Off Live. We'll preview the matchup with the Panthers, take a look back at the black and gold career of Tim Thomas, and have all the latest news from around the NHL. All that and more Thursday at 6:30. 65 minutes. Nothing settled yet here at the TD Garden. Bruins Stars back in the first period, early first period. Jamie Benn with a beautiful snapshot, found a seam in the opening. Bruins with great pressure and a really good skating first period, even though they got down 1-0. It was Torrey Krug finishing off a beautiful feed from Riley Smith. Dennis Seidenberg, third period, able to keep this puck at the blue line with great hand-eye coordination. That led to puck possession, the shot by Hamilton, the redirect by Lucic. And with less than 3 minutes to go, the Bruins seem to be in charge of this hockey game. But a combination of errors in the neutral zone and a line change lead to a penalty shot call. Vernon Fiddler attacks Tuukka Rask, makes a move to the backhand. Backhand is it right up under the crossbar. That's where we stand, tied at 2.
The Bruins shooters will be Patrice Bergeron, Jerome McGinley, and Louis Eriksson, the ex-Dallas Star. Dallas will go with its captain, Jamie Benn, the ex-Bruin, Tyler Seguin, and a kid who's pretty comfortable in this building, Alex Chiasson, who played 3 years at Boston University, concluding with the 2012 season.
Number 37, Patrice.
Boston elects to shoot first as the home team has the option. Two of the finest Finnish goalies that there are, Tuukka Rask for Boston and Kari Lehtinen for the Dallas Stars. Bergeron holds and goes underneath. It's like the Steve Carlton slider. They know what's coming and they still can't stop it.
Well, it's the threat of the shot, either short side over the glove high or through the legs. Pick your poison. Bergeron, all the confidence in the world to be able to slide that puck back against the grain.
Jamie Benn swooping in on Rask, holds and Rask denies him.
Patience by Rask. Square to the shot. Would not allow Jamie Benn to get him out of the position. And all he's got to do is move that right arm.
Jerome McGinley, 1 for 1 on a tremendous shot. Here he comes on Lehtinen. He dekes, and Lehtinen takes it away. McGinley unable to scoop it up under the bar.
Not enough of a fake by Jerome McGinley to get Lehtinen out of his comfort zone. Lehtinen able to stay right with him because that initial fake, not strong enough.
Here it is, Tyler Seguin on Tuukka Rask. He scores!
After 2 rounds of the
When you have players like this in your lineup and you get into these situations, such a luxury to have. The skill set, the ability to move the puck quickly, shoot the puck quickly, attack quickly, or slow it down. He's got the full arsenal.
The other principal in the trade, Louis Eriksson on Kari Lehtinen, drawing it way wide, coming in on the forehand. And Lehtinen robs him.
It appears that Louis Eriksson just didn't get this puck high enough. It appeared to have room up over the glove, as Letton is moving a little bit to his right. The glove was positioned about halfway up, and Eriksson hit it.
Alex Chiasson winding up from the corner with a lot of speed coming toward Rask. Chiasson closes, Rask saves it, and we'll go round by round.
Now that's going to be a record for distance skated in a shootout. Chiasson started all the way back almost by his own goal line in order to generate as much speed as possible, or so we think. But Rask again, a huge stop.
So one round at a time now. David Krejci misses wide.
Made the pump fake in order to get Lettinen down into that butterfly, and then he tried to go short side high over the glove. He was successful in getting him to move. Missed his spot.
Another ex-Bruin with a chance to take the second point for Dallas. It's Rich Peverley. He scores, and the Stars come out on top. 3-2 in a shootout. Seguin and Peverley, the goal scorers in the shootout.
And it looks good on Dallas, Jack. A first period that maybe could have gotten away from them a little bit, particularly in the first 13, 14 minutes. And even though they had that 1-0 lead, Krug tied it. They upped the compete level in the second period. And even though they went down 2-1 in the third, they still had enough in terms of compete to tie the hockey game under 3 minutes to go in regulation. And those two fellas, those two former Bruins, are going to feel pretty good sitting in that locker room right now, able to take the extra point on the strength of their goals in the shootout.
Well, Dale, Barry, the Bruins get a point out of this, but the fact of the matter is they've been on the wrong side of the final score 4 times in the last 5 games. I think we can call this an early season slump.